Dear Daniel Craig, life did not always look like this. This marked a moment of triumph, a way of crushing an abysmal past and daring those with a stereotypical view of those with mental illness to challenge me on any front. To many, this was just a documentary. For me and Missy, this was our life.
It's like my skin is coming off. And my thoughts, they're racing so fast. I can't keep up.
I'm suffering too, you know. You're not the only one.
It's like my mind is coming apart and I can't get it to come together.
I think it's more than just that. Amy's been having a really hard time lately. She goes on these crying jags. She explodes without warning. She's so angry and so paranoid these days. She's not the happy Amy that I remember from Kentucky.
She thinks you're manic depressive. I, however, do not. I think this is something you've been obsessing on. I believe that it's all in your head.
She's coming here. We're going to get you some help. I'll be okay. You do have a diagnosis. You have rapid cycling manic depression.
Dear Daniel Craig, bipolar disorder and those that saw it as contagious sought to pull me under, snap me in half, break me down. Even those well-intentioned do-gooders who see therapy and medication as bad and wrong, who see mentally ill individuals as hapless and hopeless, they're wrong. I found hope in your work. A comrade in Missy, my rock when no one else understood. You two are my twin lights when this disease threatened to take me down. And treatment was what got me through. Thank you, Daniel, for your talent and your work. Thank you for everything.
The cinematography's all wrong.
Amy McCorkle.
Cutting my own
You know, when I say I'm unmuting, that means the mics are going live. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Recovery Unplugged Live. John Spalding from June NBC Live, Amy McCorkle, Virginia Beld, Brandon X. Bell, and Del Weston in the house tonight for an awesome episode. Say hello on Facebook if you are tuning in. And what's up, Amy?
Well, I talked to one of my original inspirations for getting into treatment. I talked to Maurice Bernard, and he plays Sonny Corinthos on General Hospital. He's an Emmy winner, and he has bipolar in real life, and he's a mental health advocate. And I paid $150 to Wizard World for 2 minutes, but the conversation.
Whoa! Wait! What?
Wait! But the conversation went on for a half an hour because I told him about all the things I had done and what my story was, and then he started asking me questions about what my anxiety was like, and he was telling me what his anxiety was like, and we got into an extended conversation.
You give me $150, we could talk all night. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
2 minutes.
It wasn't 2 minutes.
Del's been on a soap opera before. So he's coming on? Oh, come on.
Well, maybe. Okay, so I talked to him, and so I had to reach out to his agent, which is his wife, but he said, tell her we talked and I want to do your podcast.
Oh, that's great.
So
Right
that
on.
So I know I paid $150, but it was worth it.
That's a business deal.
You know,
Is that a tax write-off?
I did it because I wanted to do it. It was like, because, you know, it's like a hero. Like next to Daniel Craig, he's my biggest inspiration.
All right.
Wow.
So
Right on.
yeah. I'm
know,
trying
I
to figure out
spoke
who
to
I would give that much money to talk to for 2 minutes.
I went onto a website and I talked to a girl for like, I don't know, 3 days, and it came like $9,000. I thought it was a deal until I heard about this.
Well, hopefully he's coming up. We'll see him soon. Hopefully he'll be on.
Yeah.
I mean, I could get her anytime. She lives next door. I'm just saying. Think about it.
Was this Craigslist? What's going on
Something like that.
What other news?
Okay, so AOF and Letters to Daniel are doing a theatrical performance in New York off Broadway, one night only, double bill, which Ginny will be reprising her role as Missy, and Brandon will be reprising his role as Patrick, and Megan will be reprising her role as me. And I'm bringing Anna Maria and Abigail, and of course Annabelle is playing my mother in this version of the play, in this version of Letters to Daniel. So we get to work together because we didn't get to work together last time.
So on the spot question, Amy, if the theatrical release, the one night only of Letters to Daniel goes well, will there be a spin-off of the Missy and Patrick relationship?
If Missy wants to do that, that's because as you know, Patrick was a real person, but he was a skinny white blonde boy, and there wasn't a relationship like that in real life, but he did give us $50 so we could have Thanksgiving dinner. So that much of it was true.
That part was true.
We wanted to work with Brandon again, so we picked the role that was easiest to
Look at that
expand.
smile. Look at that smile.
How happy he got. Look at him.
Hey, that made me feel warm and fuzzy.
Him just a little man. Isn't that pretty? That's beautiful. Good for you both that you found each other. That's great.
I love working with Brandon.
I love working with Amy. That's my big sister right there. And and every time I'm on set with her, she brings the best out of myself, her colleagues, and her writings. The way she writes, the way she directs, her and Missy as a team, it really leaks down to the rest of the crew and the cast that's on set with them. So we appreciate you every single time. It's always a joy and it's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would not know. I would not have been introduced or working with Amy had Brandon not told me about you and said, "Hey, you got to go meet her and you got to reach out to her and hang out with her. She's a hard worker, good writer."
I mean, because the first time I met Amy, she literally we met at the Indie Film Gathering, and I was just in awe because she won damn near every single award. Like and it got to the point where she didn't even have to go and sit back down. It was just like, "No, Amy, you just stay here because
stay here. You're next."
Yeah, you're gonna win another one and another one.
They had to get a
tow
lift.
It literally happened like that too.
They had to get a tow lift to carry her awards back to the room. She had to get a private jet home. It was a big deal.
Yeah, that was 2016. We won 11 awards that year.
Wow.
And there was like 11 back to back. It wasn't like it was pretty crazy to see. And this was my first indie gathering. And so I'm like, that is what it's about. And after working with her, I could see why she won all those awards.
You know, I hadn't shot any narrative films before 2017. My first narrative was Broken. And I reached out to Brandon because he was nominated. You were nominated for Best Ohio Actor. And I said, and he was in Cleveland Allegories. And so I said, well, he's nominated, and this is someone, and his personality, as you can see, his personality just kind of bubbles up, and he's a natural leader, and he's good for set morale. And he's really good for set morale whenever maybe there's someone on set who is a bit of a diva, where we had that happen on one of the films we worked on together. But he did a real good job of supporting.
That was fun too. That was fun.
Yeah, that was when there was a tornado warning, And he was still in the hotel, and he calls me and he goes, Amy, is that a tornado siren? I said, yes. He goes, am I gonna die?
I just wanted to know what was, what the plans was going to be for the next day. You know what I'm saying? Because we had to film, so if I wasn't going to be there, that would have been kind of difficult. So I just wanted to.
Did the tornado hit?
Yeah, the tornado.
It did, but it hit further up south of us.
Yeah, it was where John, you're a funny guy. I'm just gonna say it, John. You're a funny dude. But yeah, it was like what, like maybe 10 miles south of where we was at.
But we were right next to a school which had the tornado siren on it, so it was very
that's what made it crazy, because I'm right next to the hotel, and I'm in the hotel by myself, and it's just like, it was sunny, and then it was like pitch black from just from everybody
there we go.
preparing for, I'm still here, from everybody preparing for death, and it was just it was very very, very, very interesting experience. Very.
Well, not only are we doing the theatrical thing, I talked to we're aligning ourselves with a nonprofit and so as opposed to crowdfunding, we're going to do grant writing, and we had a professional grant writer guiding us through the process. And
right on.
And then
be amazing.
Yeah, what's the name of the show that you want to do? It's a Prince tribute. What was the name of it?
My Purple Life. It's a play I produced for someone else last year, and we did a run at the Stellar Adler Academy in Hollywood. And he's a talented guy, and I think he deserves a shot. So I try to make sure that's available to people. And if it works out, I would love to have it done the right way. And so that would be a great addendum to your show.
Yeah, I think so too. And I'm working with the same nonprofit and grant writer so we raised an update. We have raised $2,000 for the Recovery Unplugged talk show pilot.
Yay!
That's amazing.
And you know who put us over the top? A member of Brian Martin's film team.
Oh, that's great.
Her daughter and her mother have bipolar disorder.
Oh.
And what she does is she works sound for them. And she says, I'll work for what a film student would have worked on your pilot.
Oh, Nina? Was that Nina?
Yeah.
How awesome.
Oh, that's so fantastic. That's great.
Cool
She's good.
That? That's great.
Yeah.
So that was great. And we're going to do a Recovery Unplugged pilot launch in LA, and it's going to be like a gala, but we're going to try to use the nonprofit to get grant money to do that. And the proceeds, part of them will go to the NAMI.org, the National Alliance for the Mentally Ill. And it'll also create buzz for the show whenever Krista is shopping it to the different television contacts she has. That's my manager. And so
where'd you get your Jamaican work ethic? You're amazing.
Got like 4 jobs.
I mean, that's what the level of work and the quality of work and the amount of work that you've done in the last 4 or 5 years since I've known you is just, it puts most people to shame. It just puts them to shame. Good for you.
Okay, well, and I don't know when tonight, but I found out that late tonight the Indie Gathering nominations are coming out, and I know we're in second place, and it's a long shot, but I'm hoping for my actors' sake that they get nominated because they really deserve it. I don't know if they can win because there's like 175 films in competition, and that's a lot of actors to overcut the rise, but I really feel like Megan and Ginny and Brandon brought their best, and I think they're deserving of a nomination.
I'm pretty sure this money that I'm going to send them along with this horse's head is gonna get them out. No worries, you just leave it to me. We're gonna get all the nominations.
So, Amy, do you have
the
any questions
and everything?
Yes. Okay.
We saw the trailer. We saw the trailer for Let Us Daniel at the opening, And
Yes.
you got some trailer, or you have some questions for Ginny and Brandon while they're here?
Yes, and please, Del, jump in anytime you like. I'm going to start with Brandon.
No.
Brandon Bell.
I'm
And
nervous, Jenny. Are you nervous?
okay, so we have okay, so you are not only an actor, but you're a producer of The Connected, you're a rapper, and you're a writer. And so we have now worked on 3 films together, twice with you giving dazzling performance and once in a very moving supporting role. What I love about working with you is that you're an open and generous actor with zero ego. What is it you love about working with me?
One of the main things that I love working with you is that you know your vision from the very get-go. So I'm off just from the get-go. I'm comfortable and I can concentrate on what I need to do as an actor because I know what you're going to give as a leader and as a director. I love your leadership that goes in with what you write because you know you could write a great piece of work but still not be able to convey what it takes for your other actors to bring what you wrote out. You do a great job of that. You allow us to, as actors, to be free with who we are, but at the same time, respecting what you wrote, and you demand that respect for your script. But at the same time, you allow us to be in our shoes and be in that character as we see fit as well. So it's a great, selfless give and take relationship that we have while we're on set. And because of that respect, I think actors they tend to not try to do their own thing. They do follow your lead because you respect the actors that much. So just all the way around, from your leadership skills, from your writing to where I'm reading the script and I can definitely get involved. I can feel that character. I could relate to that character just based on how you write it. And then once we get on set, you do a great job of making sure that what is on paper is being conveyed on the screen, and it's not nothing of it's not an ego, it's not out of malice or just heavy criticism. It's where you know what you want out of your scenes. You give us the opportunity to deliver that, and at the same time you lead us and guide us to get to that completed point. So that's what it is.
Okay.
What a great answer.
Yeah.
It's true.
And a great voice. You should do voiceovers, man.
Damn it, now I get all of that.
All right. I'll add that to my repertoire. All right.
You should.
You should listen. Dale knows what he's talking about. You do have a great voice.
Oh yeah, I'm taking his advice. Appreciate it, man.
I don't give advice, but I tell you what, it's like a pig sniffing truffles. When you know it's good and it's real and it's the best, you just comment. That's enough.
I appreciate it, man. That's humbling. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Weston. Yes, sir. I'm Truffles, I think, or I'm on the pig.
You are Truffles, sir.
All right, cool. I'm Truffles. All right, sweet.
You are also active in the film and music communities in Cleveland. You have a web series, The Connected, and you are a wonderful music maker. You have also seen your fair share of setbacks locally. What are your current plans for The Connected, and do you plan for it and what do you plan for it and your music career's future?
Well, COVID was kind of like a big monkey wrench in a lot of things. We were moving at a pretty decent pace before COVID hit. When COVID hit, because it's an unknown virus and there's so many variables into it. I just did the smart thing and just looking out for everybody's health. And, I shut down the production until, we get a handle on it. We have multiple episodes already filmed. So we're going to be releasing those pretty soon. We just had some behind the scenes, just business to take care of and just try to figure out how we would operate during the time of COVID. We wanted to film a few times during this whole entire outbreak, but each time, we just looked at just the overall variables. We did have a couple of people get COVID. And so if we would have went ahead with filming, we would have put other cast members at risk. So, and knowing that, and, myself, I'm very anxious to get back on set. I know the cast members and the crew is really anxious to get back on set, but at the same time, I want to be cautious so we can have a set to come back to. And so for right now, we're just going to be releasing the episodes that we have already filmed. That's just in the process of getting edited. We wasn't going to edit until we finished the entire season, but now we're just going to edit what we can and get it out there. And with the music, shout out Voice of Radio, my partner EP, Earl Porter. We're starting a label called Landmine Records or Landmine Entertainment, along with my partner Drew Evans at Bro Ops Entertainment. We got great artists on the team. My partner De Leon, that's another one of our business partners. Outlaw Jones, shout out. AP, JL Smooth, Mr. Six, the entire camp. We're looking forward to right now we're in the midst of just working on some very, very, very good records. And so we're going to be dropping those records too. So it's pretty much where I'm going to be hitting people on the screen, and then I'm going to be hitting people in their ears. And so it's like, either you're going to get annoyed, you're going to love me, or you're going to hate me. I'm really not going to leave any room for either three. Either I want to annoy you, I want you to love me, or I want you to hate me. So that's pretty much the plan. And so we just staying busy. Ain't nothing really stopped for real. We also have my comic book that's going to be coming out next year. Fern Wolf, aka Metal Wolf. Make sure y'all check that out. November 2021.
What's it called?
It's called Fern Wolf.
Okay.
Fern Wolf, Fern Wolf Kanan. It's basically, the title is Metal Wolf and some type of Thor-like German Greek mythology. That's the name that the editors hit me with, and it's a pretty dope name. I just gotta get the pronunciation of it correct, but it's basically a comic book, in the same lines of Marvel, DC style of heroes. And
nice.
As a writer, this COVID time has given me an opportunity to, explore different parts of my brain, different parts of my writing skills. From the music. Now, I'm just writing different types of projects along with the connected, just staying busy. And so COVID ain't stopped nothing. Slow down something. Maybe we have to just, I would say, figure out a couple of things, readjust, but don't let the stop over this way. We just keep it pushing, keep it moving. And we vaccinate through good vibes.
Okay. This is your second appearance on the show. You were the second guest in season 1. We've collaborated on 3 films together: Broken, The Weekend, and Letters to Daniel. I feel like we're more family now than just creative collaborators.
Indeed.
Could you share a memorable experience from each of these projects with our audience?
Well, definitely. With the first project, the most memorable experience that I had was the fact that I had shout out my man Sterling Hall. When we came down, we got lost, about like 9 hours lost or some craziness like that. And then we just so happened to bring our camera with us.
I didn't have a camera. Not a good one.
It was decent. It was, camera's a camera. It's all about the editing, but thank God we had our camera. Thank God Sterling came with me, and we were able to literally, it was where everybody came in, all hands on deck. We all slept basically in the same living room. We all ate the same food. We all, and it was just a huge experience of, when the chips were against us, every single time we just jumped that hurdle, jumped that obstacle. Without any type of gravity on us. We just saw an obstacle and just took off way over it. And that was my favorite experience from then. From the weekend, outside of the tornado, because I thought that was actually, even though I was worried about dying, I actually thought I got a pretty good cold and drilling rush out of that. Like, I was really enjoying that. But what I enjoyed about the weekend was because we did have just difficulty as far as I had difficulty with the actress. Part of it was my fault. And just trying to, I think, as an actor, you always want to put your best foot forward. And at the time, we were both trying to feel each other out. And so what I got out of that was, patience and being able to.
Yeah, let me tell you, I watched. Now remember, I had to watch the raw footage because I did my own editing on that. You are an open and generous actress. actor. She is only interested in really being open when the camera's on her. She's not there for being open even when the camera. So be nice to yourself. And I won't say her name, but
no, she's a you know, it was yeah, I'd say like this, she was pretty, so I guess when the camera was on her, she really, you know, she accentuated that. But you know, like it's you know, it's you know, I look at it where maybe it was like, you know, just that weekend it was you know, we were just like kind of missing, just me and her was like kind of like missing some areas here and there as an actor. But I also thought that helped as well, like me as an actor, because her character was supposed to be a little bit cold, and she was supposed to be, you know, really caught up in her feelings per se. So I think that helped me as an actor as well. And I just enjoyed that experience because, you know, every single time you're working with an actor, it's not going to be a smooth, easy transition of dialogue between you guys or emotions. And so that taught me how to check my own area and see where I'm at mentally, because you know, it might be some days I'm on set, and if I'm not bringing in 100%, you know, it's how you work around that. And you know, sometimes my counterpart is another actor or actress, they might not be feeling up to it 100%. So, you know, as a team member, as team players, we gotta, you know, pick each other up sometimes. You know, it's just like, I look at it like a game of basketball. You got, you know, you're on the same team. I think y'all might be able to hear my baby, he's eating. But you know, if you're on the same team, you know, sometimes, you know, one of the players, you know, they taking a couple extra shots is not going in, you know, really, but you're still in the game. So you really got to figure out how to work with this player. And there's really it's nothing against them and nothing like that. It's just, you know, it's just sometimes some things might not gel. But it did teach me
why do we tolerate bad behavior like that? Why do we tolerate that?
I mean, like, it's not that I tolerate it.
I mean, it's so wonderful of you to turn it around and say, listen, it made me question my motives and my ability. I mean, what a beautiful thing to say. But the fact of the matter is, why do we tolerate that? I'm in the same position. It blows my mind.
Rephrase it. Because, like, here's the thing. Like, as an actor, you know, I wouldn't even necessarily say tolerate it, but at that point in time, it's like, it's where it's actually you're not tolerating. It's like you're taking what you're given and you're trying to, and you're making the best out of that situation. You know what I'm saying? Without it going, because, you know, and keeping cast morale, too much negativity on top of a negative situation will only bring more negativity. You know, and then it's also on self-responsibility as well. Because, you know, like even at the time, I'll admit, I was, you know, hey, I want to know all of my lines 100%, and sometimes, you know, I didn't know the lines 100%. That might have threw the actors off.
You were recovering from a concussion, and
yeah,
I was in
an accident like that earlier that week on the way to filming another movie, and so I got in a pretty bad accident, and I had a concussion. But
he didn't. But you know what? He didn't make excuses, Dale.
That's my point. I love it. I think what he's saying is brilliant, and I love it. But I wonder why we allow bad behavior on sets, you know, and I think a lot of times because people hold you hostage.
Amy ain't allow it. She was on it.
I hope not. Like, I really hope not.
Okay, this is what happened. The worst point was it was 11 o'clock at night. It was the last scene of the day. It was the last setup of the day. And she comes in and the scene calls for Brandon to put his arm around her and comfort her. And she throws his arm off of her and says, "I'm not feeling it." And I had to take a deep breath. And so we shot.
I didn't understand it because I definitely showered before we shot that scene too. So it wasn't me. Like I showered, I had on good deodorant. I even put on some body oil to have a decent all the way around good fragrance going on. And my breath smelled good.
So what I did was every single line, she like every other line she dropped. And so it was like a disease. And so they would read one line and then say line. And it went that way. And I said, I'm just going to cut, either we're going to reshoot this scene in the morning, or I'm just going to decide to cut it now. And I, like, the next morning I started to set up to do it. And she goes, "We already did this scene." And I said, "Okay, we'll just cut it." And it was a scene that showcased her, you know? So she,
And well, in her defense, I think she left all her weed at home. She was pretty annoying.
Hello.
So that's why I talked it up to, you know, like, hey, she ain't have no weed with her.
Okay.
Well, listen. I don't know who you're talking about, and I don't want to know, but I'm sorry you had that experience.
Yeah.
Somebody get the brownie.
Okay, so the next question is, you also work often with the director Misha Tott.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like? Yeah, what's it like working with him, and how does it differ from working with me?
Well, the biggest difference with working with him and working with you is when I work with you, I remember what happened the next day. That's the first thing. I can have a sober thought with you. With Misha, man, after we done filming, good luck. You know, it's party time. You know, but working with he was the first film director that I worked with when I got here to Cleveland. He showed me a lot, taught me a lot, and you know, and him being he's a young guy, but the dude worked relentlessly. And working with him is for me as an actor, same thing working with you. It's a joy because you guys have so much passion in what you do and what you write and your story that you're trying to tell. And it really comes across to the actors and to the other members of the crew to where there's not any second guessing to what you're doing. It's almost a premeditated, natural, organic type of emotion and type of a feel where the dialogue begins to roll naturally. The feelings between the actors come across screen naturally. And so with Misha, he does a good job of letting us be free on set as far as within our characters as well. A big difference between y'all, I think, with you, when it comes down to your films, your films are more seriously toned, so it acquires a different style of acting from myself. And with Misha's films, with his films, they and the artistic, written wise, they're still artistically great, but it's just a different type of you're more of family related drama. Misha is more, I would say, abstract art. In a way, and so you have the beauty of the Mona Lisa, and he has the beauty of a Picasso. You know what I mean? And so it's different aspects of it. When I act with you, it's more concentrated. It's more focused in, and it's really emotion based. I have to go to a different area. With Misha, is I have to prepare for. It's a lot of different twists and turns. It's more physical. He demands a lot out of his actors comedic wise, which is very hard because it's about timing. And so it's a different contrast. With you, is I got the drama. With Misha, I got the excitement of just of what the hell is about to happen, or what's about to go on in the script, or what kind of thing are you about to have me, or what am I going to see weird done on the set. And then afterwards it's just about Amy. Hey, I could drive home safely after Amy said, get home. Hey kids, hey wife, I'm cool. Misha said, I'm gonna catch an Uber tomorrow.
Well, speaking of after shoot, as we wrapped on Broken, we sat drinking, and we were last man standing in that group. Everybody else was asleep, and you told me I was the first person to cast you as someone in your entire career, and you were 32 at that point, to tell me that you played something other than a thug or a criminal.
Yeah, and that's like that's like half accident, half personal choice, because like the other roles I would be offered would be like, you know what, I'll just take the gangster criminal because I ain't gonna do that, and so it's like almost lesser of two evils. But one thing I really liked about when out and working with your film is you gave me the opportunity to showcase range, that I'm not just that as an actor that is not just guns and gang stuff or boss real just tough stuff with me. I could be I had an opportunity to be vulnerable as a character. I had an opportunity to be imperfect as a character. I had an opportunity to be low, like really low, and that is a challenge within itself, to get yourself emotionally to that point where, you know, you're low and you have to pull yourself back up. Because like Broken was one of those films where I prepared mentally beforehand, and you know, either after you remember after every scene, you know, especially those huge emotional scenes, you know, you're left with a lot of that emotional just electricity, and so you know, just all in all, as an actor, I really like that challenge of being something that's different. You know, seeing the different areas I can go to emotionally. I take that challenge, and you provided that challenge, and you provided that challenge very well. So, you know, I appreciate you for that.
You said you and Sterling said because everybody's like we shot until about 6 p.m. on that Saturday, and so everybody ate dinner and left the next morning. And as everybody was leaving, you said it feels like Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, and the family is all the different family, you know, nuclear families are departing to go home, and the kids are all taking their last meal together. And I felt like that was the biggest compliment I could get, because that was such I love the experience of Broken. And
because we created a family, and I hated that we had to depart. And, you know, it was like Thanksgiving dinner. It's like, you know, it's time we done had the great meals and the great laughs, and you just, you know, you got that, you just doing like this to everybody, and it sucks. You know
and until I did Letters to Daniel, which now that's probably my favorite set experience.
Yeah, definitely. It's both of them is equal. They it's different because like with Letters to, like with Broken, that was, you know, your rookie season. You know, you just hit the court for the first time, LeBron James, and now you know, and then you know what I'm saying, and then with Letters to Daniel, that's like 2016 LeBron James with Kyrie, Kevin Love, and everybody's back healthy, and you know and it's, you know, and it's game 6, game 7, and everything is just popping, and you can really see, you know, your hard work and everything that you worked for years come to fruition. And I think everybody collectively had that in mind, and it was different. We saw, like, I literally saw you from, you know, Broken all the way to that point, you know, through the weekend and everything, and literally grow as a director and as a leader on a set. And that many people, you handled your business. You were Suge Knight and we were Death Row. Without all the bad contracts.
Okay, so this is my last question for you for now, because I'll do a round robin, and then Del might have some questions for you. Brandon, as Maria said, you are ridiculously talented. Straight out of the gate, you were nominated for your work in 3 different films: Cleveland Allegories, In Production, and Broken. What was special about each of those performances and experiences?
Special thing was I wasn't expecting to get nominated for any of them. You know, that's each time. I don't care if I didn't win. Each time was just special because, you know, people respect the work that you put in. The first time I got nominated was real special because I was nominated along with Peter Lawson Jones, and he was one of my original mentors when I first started acting at the Caramel. My first play I was ever in. I was in the play that he wrote, and so it was pretty dope being nominated, you know, in the same category as the guy who kind of helped you get your start, right? And so I didn't win, and I whispered in his ear, "I'm coming for you." And so he took that the wrong way because I had police at my house the next day, but it's cool. I mean, I was talking about acting, man. He thought I was talking about, like, I'm not talking about that $10 you owe me from 7 years ago, but it's crazy. But no, and then like with the other nominations, it's just valid. You know, it feels good to be validated. Like the first time was like, I don't know, did they get that right? And then the second time was like, oh, they really appreciate me. Then the third time is like, wow, like, you know, they really respect my work. And, you know, and so, and one thing about it is, even though I didn't win on 3, I was the only person to get nominated each 3 times. So the way I look at it is, you take all those 3 up, you add it, that's just as good as winning, you know, because it's difficult to get nominated once, let alone 3 straight times. And so,
well, you got nominated twice at Indie Gathering and once for Broken at Hollywood Dreams. That's one of Dell's festivals, part of Mega Fest.
Oh, I appreciate
Absolutely.
that, Dell. Like,
hey,
I mean,
don't thank me, thank the judges. They're the one that makes the decision.
Hey, well, thank them.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. And I just want to continue to get better as an actor. You know, it's it's a lot of talented actors and actresses here that's out here, and I just feel honored and humbled to, you know, get nominated or be in the same film with people. I look at all y'all like a celebrity. I look at all y'all like celebrities. Like, Jenny, you're a celebrity to me. Amy, you're a celebrity to me. Dell, you're a celebrity to me. Like, I have especially after, you know, you can see it from afar, but when you see you guys work up in person, when I seen Jenny act in person, and I done read your scripts, read your book, been directed by you, Amy, in person, you really get appreciation for the art and in the truest form, because you guys really appreciate it. And so for a guy like myself and my background and where I'm from, to be you know, considered and to, you know, have any type of the same amount of respect that you guys get, to me, it's a very, very humbling thing. And so I'm always going to be appreciative of that.
Bill, do you have any questions?
Yeah, it was a very, very kind statement, and I appreciate it. But everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's just trying to row their boat to the nearest shore, and it is such a great and honorable thing for the way you speak and show respect. I mean, that's going to go a long way in towards your success. I understand it completely, and we're all in the same boat. Don't think that anyone is above or below. But I will tell you this: I do sell my autographs for $27 at the show. So save up.
So mine for 27 too. We'll just swap out.
We'll just swap them out. It's fine.
There we go.
Have a PA walk up to him and say, "We need a waiver signed."
Yeah, let's do that. That's smart.
I got my people on the way to your house now, Dale.
He'll be like, "Oh yeah."
Send them.
No doubt.
Send them. I'm good. I love what I'm hearing. I just love to hear it. It's fantastic. You guys are amazing.
I'm going to move on to Ginny now.
Ginny.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I first saw you act in a little film called Salt in the Wound when a fellow AOFer, Thomas Moore, asked me to be a judge for the Southern Oasis Film Festival. I was so knocked out by your performance. I asked him to put you in touch with me. Why not give us a look at your journey in the film industry and what brought you to the Letters to Daniel family?
Well, when I was about 26, I decided I was going to finally try to go to school and get a degree because I hadn't been able to. And I took one class in pre-law kind of thing and was like, no. And then the next class I took was a guerrilla filmmaking class. And the guy that ran that class at Pellissippi here in Knoxville, his name was Paul Isbicki. And he was a fantastic guy. He was the first person to tell me, you really do have what it takes. You've just got to bust your butt, but you have all the talent it takes. It's all there in your head and your heart. You've just got to get out there and do it and not let anything stop you. So that kind of, you know, filled my sails enough to get me through the first few years of trying to take classes and get things done. I ended up getting my Associates of Applied Science in Video Production Technology. And then I got involved in the kind of short film community here where we had some film festivals, including the Knoxville Film Festival. And so I've done that a few times, once with my own team and then plenty of times with other people's teams. But I just found that being a storyteller and also having a background in music and acting and writing and photography, that film was the perfect thing to bring it all together. And it was like I had finally found my superpower. You know, I'd finally found my Goku Super Saiyan hair going on kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of and I always loved movies as a kid, and I always said I wanted to be in movies as a kid because it looked like so much fun. So yeah.
Okay. You are a talented actor actress, but your background also includes directing, producing, and crewing in all positions. What is a project you have worked on in the past that you are especially proud of?
Oh, wow. There's been a lot of projects I've worked on. I really am proud of Salt in the Wound because I got to do it with Megan, and Thomas gave me something that I could take a bite out of and chew. And that's not often. Like a lot of times they're just like, oh, say this line and look pretty or look stern, or, it's like, that's not a character. So I loved that it was an actual character. I loved that I got to go from one end of the spectrum to the other because of how everything worked with the character. I also loved being on Letters to Daniel, honestly, because that was the first real set that I'd been on where I was acting. Before I'd been on a feature-length set, but I was a PA for a day, and then I became the script supervisor the second day and did that for the rest of the time. But it was a very much challenge because acting is not my first thing. I would say writing and then producing and then directing, and then we get into like acting, dancing, singing, and then it goes farther down the list of things people really don't want me to do in public. Because they're mostly annoying and not that entertaining to anyone but me. So yeah, I'm really also proud of a little project that I did. I used to work with a director called Jacob Boyd with Post Retro Productions, and I worked with him for a few years. He was out of town for one of the 54-hour film festivals, and so I ran the team and directed and did all that jazz, and it turned out fantastic. And it really showed me that even though it had been a long time since I had run a team by myself, that I was perfectly capable of it still. So, because after a while of doing things for other people and working on other people's projects, you almost start to get this self-doubt, like, can I do my own thing anymore? It's been so long, I feel rusty. And so that was really, really nice. And it was kind of the story involved dealing with abuse from a parent. And that's something I grew up with. So it was something that kind of helped me process some of that, and then also allowed me to give someone else a perspective of what that might be like if they have never lived through that. And I think that's important to make people stop and think about the things that they take for granted that other people just don't get.
Yeah.
Like normal childhoods.
Normal childhoods. What's that?
I've read about them in books.
Letters to Daniel is at its heart a female buddy picture about best friends facing the impossible. You and your co-star Megan Jones are best friends in real life. What was it like playing best friends on screen?
It was really interesting because we were on a completely positive thing. Like, we were there to cheer each other on. We were there to run our lines with each other, which were mostly with each other. So that really helped at night, being in the same room, being like, all right, let's focus on this and not on anything else. And that was really, like, I almost feel like I couldn't, I could have made it, but it wouldn't have been as pleasant of a challenge without Megan, So, and also I am not good at doing my own hair. Oh my God, I probably shouldn't say that out loud, but I'm just not good at doing my own hair. So Megan did my hair for the entire film. So yeah, it was fantastic having my best friend. Like, I almost wouldn't want to do it any other way. Like, it's not going to be as fun the next time if it's not me and Megan again. So you better start getting some more buddy pick comedy things going, because
we're doing the stage production, remember? So you get to do it again. Yeah.
Oh, you need to write something where one of us accidentally kills like a dude, and we spend the rest of the time
wait a minute. Hold on there.
Body and not get caught, but like, it's totally an accident because we're total blondes. We didn't mean to do it, but we're like, they're totally gonna put us in jail. We're too pretty for jail. So like, something like that. I would love, like, I want to have some hijinks and shenanigans trying to bury a body that we just can't get rid of, like Weekend at Bernie's style. That would be great. I can put that on the wish list.
At the end of filming, you thanked me for casting you in Letters to Daniel because it allowed you to process some of your feelings where your mother was concerned.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, could you explain what you meant by that?
My mom is bipolar. She is very bipolar. She's been a whole lot better the last 5 or 6 years, for the most part, because her medicine has got her leveled out. But I grew up with my mom being bipolar, and honestly, because my grandmother watched me for a lot of the time, I didn't really start noticing certain behaviors till I was in middle school. And doing this film, you know, when you're that age and you start to realize that your mother has these behaviors that are not normal, because when you go over to other kids' houses, their parents don't have these behaviors. You know, their mother isn't up at 3:00 in the morning scrubbing the bathroom. You know, like,
Yeah.
Like the inspector general's coming tomorrow when no one's coming tomorrow. Like, it's, you know, little things. And then as I got older into teenage years, I dealt with my stepfather's alcoholic abuse and my mom's bipolar disorder at the same time. And so there was a lot of taking care of my mom and defending my mom and trying to be there for her, even though I was a kid and I really had no real reason to be doing that. You know, I should have been able to just be a kid. But this helped me process a lot of the things that I've had trouble with over the years, because even now, you know, my mom's been retired for a while. She had a pulmonary embolism about 4 years ago now, and I've been taking care of her. And I don't have any siblings. There's nobody else, so it's just me. And you know, I take care of her. This is a really good, like, for those who have seen the trailer, for those who have seen the film, this is a really good explanation. You can love someone and they can love you. You know, we're talking about my mother here, or, you know, or Missy and Amy, best friends. You know, in the house that I take care of her in now, she has stood on the other side of the kitchen island and thrown glasses at my face, screaming, "I wish you were never born."
Yeah.
And that happened in 2003. That was 17 years ago. It's a very long time ago.
Wow.
But, yeah. But things like that don't ever leave you. So this really helped me deal with a lot of my frustration that I have with my mother in trying to blame the disease and not the person. You know, because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to try to deal with the disease, because that's, you know, some things can't be helped. You know, I've seen my mother in episodes where it's like, there is no sanity. There is no talking her down from the ledge of paranoid delusional insanity. She just has to basically burn herself out until she's tired enough that the chemicals stop flowing and she calms down. So it kind of, I guess I could say it gave me like an artistic therapy in a way to act out what it was like for me then, but with the knowledge and the wisdom that I have now.
What a brave story. Wow. You know, everyone has things they have to try to get through, but some of these stories are just terrifying.
Oh yeah, it's not fun when you're the caretaker.
No, I know.
You know,
it's
you
not.
just helped me understand something that I never understood until just now. And that's the phenomena that most film, that the drama film in America deals with issues of family and people and maybe not mental illness, but circumstances surrounding mental illness. And I always wondered why films like On Golden Pond and all these stories only dealt with these specific. And I hear it because it's so prevalent, you know, Sands of Time, Prince of Tides, all these films that deal with these things are just so absolutely heartbreaking. I'm beginning to understand why there's so many of these films.
It's really hard to go about in the world and not meet someone that has been affected by this. I recently had to cut ties with one of my best friends in the world because she is also bipolar, and she had an episode where she went off on me, and it brought me back to a place of trauma. And I was just like, I love you, but I cannot have someone in my life that can just lose their mind on me like that. Like, I just can't put myself in that kind of position.
What I understand as someone with it is the caretaker still has a right to their boundaries and a right to take care of themselves, even though they are taking care of you and loving you.
Yeah. And sometimes the best thing they can do for you is step back. And if you're going to crash, you're going to crash. But them trying to hold on to the window and go, hit the brake, hit the brake, hit the brake, is only going to get them run over.
Yeah.
That's kind of, and I mean, it's hard. It's one of the hardest decisions I've ever made in my whole life, because her daughter is my goddaughter. So it's been really tough. She was here, and I got to see my goddaughter every single day for like 3 months. And then I just finally got to see her yesterday after 2 weeks of not being able to get to see her. And it's not being a parent myself. It is one of the most painful things that I've had to deal with, is that if I want to see my goddaughter, I'm going to have to take the risk of having a relationship with somebody that I know can hurt me like that. And that's I'm having a really hard time with that right now. Like on the very 100% real level, I'm having a really hard time with that right now.
Going forward, what creative projects are you looking forward to working on?
Okay, so I cannot wait to go to New York and be on Off-Broadway and remember all of our lines again. As soon as you have it, send it to me, because I need to start memorizing now, because
I'm on page 30.
Not like film. You don't get a second chance.
I'm going to put it this way. I had 20 pages. My computer died. So now I'm on page, but I'm on page 31 now. So I'm making good. Me and Missy are making good headway.
I know I'm not old, but my heart, Amy, come on now. Woo,
think of how my heart felt.
Good Lord. Good Lord. I've had that happen before. I had to start a script over that I was writing for a friend of mine. And I had to start completely over. And it took me like an extra 3.5 months, because that's how long it had taken in the beginning. And I had nothing. Like, everything was gone.
Okay. So now we're going to move to round robin. So Brandon, you're coming back into the conversation. Both of you will answer these questions. I think we've all had conversations about mental health. And so how have your lives been affected by mental illness, and how has it affected your careers? And either Brandon or Ginny take that.
You can go first, Ginny.
Okay. Well, as I said before, my mother's bipolar. She's been bipolar my entire life. My stepfather was an abusive alcoholic. And I'm guessing he had some kind of mental illness, but he never went to get help. So he was never diagnosed with anything other than, severe alcoholism. And it made me grow up fast. It made me see a big difference between myself and others. And that carried on through school, that carries on into careers. There are times when I'm standing on set and I know everybody around me loves what we're doing. So we all have that in common at least. But sometimes I feel like a lot of the people around me have not lived through the kinds of things that I've lived through. And that definitely completely ties into the mental illness thing. Because after growing up the way I did, I was robbed at gunpoint when I was 19. And then 15 months later, I was robbed at gunpoint again. And by the time I was 20, and this is in small town Knoxville. This was not in I was not in Compton. I was not in like the Heights in Chicago. I was in Knoxville, Tennessee. So it goes to show you can end up in a dangerous spot anywhere. But after that, at 22, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, and I learned a lot of things to help me deal with my anxiety and my panic attacks. And I did okay until I was in my mid-30s. And then I started having panic attacks that were so bad that I couldn't even go to work. I would get in the car to go to work and would be in such a paralyzing panic that I wouldn't be able to drive. And I'd have to call my boss and say, I'll get there when I can get there, but I'm stuck in the car right now. I'd get stuck sitting in the grocery store. I'd go to the grocery store, come out of the grocery store and sit in the car for 45 minutes and cry because I was too scared to go anywhere. And it's a weird way to describe. It's not that I was too scared to go anywhere. It's like I was paralyzed physically, emotionally, psychologically. You're just terrified to a point of such intensity that you're like, I'm staying right where I am. And that, between that and my mom having to have me take care of her, because having someone else take care of her is not easy, because a lot of the elderly care people are not trained to take care of people with mental illnesses. They're only trained to take care of their geriatric issues. So that's a problem that I found a lot of, is you would have to find someone who is specialized, and that costs a lot more money. So I haven't been able to move away from Knoxville, get involved in things in Atlanta or New York or any place else, because there isn't anyone to take over to take care of my mother. And there aren't enough services that I feel like I can trust someone to take over for me so that I can begin my career at 41.
Well, it's Megan.
You're 41?
Yes, sir, Dell. I
thought you were like 23
Saturday.
or something. Well, happy birthday. Wow, that's a shock.
On Saturday. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Yep. Try to laugh every day. Don't go to the tanning salon, and don't wear tons of makeup all the time, because it's just chemicals on your face.
Well, 3 of those knocked me right out, so sorry. I'm stuck.
I'm telling you, that's a secret. That's in really good genes, but I can't share that with you. My cousin's 9 years older than me and just now looks like she's about 38. And she'll be 50 in September.
I would tell, because Megan takes care of her parents, maybe not right. So I said, either plan to go out for pilot season and make a trip, at a certain period of time, line up appointments, go for auditions, and then come back and see what happens. And if you get the part and it's on a television series, bring your mom with you. Yeah. I know that's a little bit easier said than done, though, for what you deal with. So, but I would say look at those
gold green M&Ms.
Okay, Brandon, your turn.
I had to unmute. All right. Can I get that question again?
Yes. How has your life been affected by mental illness, and how has it affected your career?
Well, my life has been affected by mental illness in several areas. Where growing up in a single parent household, no brothers, no sisters. A lot of times it was me and my moms. You have to say, for instance, you have to deal with life solo, and for a young guy that's growing up and you're trying to figure out how to, not only be a teenager, but at the same time be a man, that can weigh on you. When you out, you get jumped, you got to deal with that solo. You get in a fight, you got to deal with that solo. You get bullied, you got to deal with that solo. And eventually that wears on you. It also creates a shield for you, and you do get rough around the edges, and that's what happened to me. And I'm thankful for my kids and my wife, because they took a lot of that edge off, per se. And dealing with mental illness, I'll be very, very honest and candid. I've been, you know, suicidal before. I've been depressed before. And you know it's real when you really can't pinpoint the reason why. But you just have this incredible feeling of just sadness, dread. But you know why? It's just, you know, there's nothing I could, you know, you could just pick up and say, this is it, you know, and you feel it. And then that becomes a very, very lonely place because, like for myself, you know, I lead a crew, lead a cast. You don't want people to know that, because then people will start to doubt your leadership, or you'll think that people will will start to doubt your leadership. And myself being a husband, father, I definitely didn't want to discuss that with my wife, because I didn't want her to think that the leader of the household, you know, is not taking care of business up here. You don't want to leak that down to your kids, because the kids look at you as the hero, as a superhero. You know, you always got to be, you know, strong. And so I found myself in a very, very, very lonely box. And then through my life, I done lost a lot of friends to the streets, a lot of friends to drugs, family members. And, you know, eventually, and close family members, close friends. And eventually you end up feeling so much sadness or crying so much, you know, you almost find yourself feeling numb to a lot of things that should affect you emotionally too. So depression works in both ways. Is where some people think depression is just, oh, you just feeling sad. Sometimes depression when you don't feel nothing at all. And that's kind of like, that's one of the worst kinds, because especially if you're an artist, it's nothing worse than, you know, you wanting to work on your art, wanting to create, and your mind just won't let you. And that's your escape. You know, that's where you go to for solace. That's where you go to for some type of peace of mind when you know, society, even if they don't shun you, you tend to cut yourself off from society, because you don't know how society is going to react to you. So you rather just deal it with yourself. And so for artists, when you're not able to create because of things that's going on mentally, it makes that, it doubles down on it. You know, and then for artists, I know a lot of artists that deals with depression and things of that nature. And, you know, even art plays a part in that, because, you know, you put your heart, your soul, your blood, sweat, and tears, time, sacrifice into a project for months or years. And, you know, and if people, you know, they don't look at it, or people don't watch it, or people don't even, you know, take the time to see it, that makes you feel extra bad too. So you was working on this while you were depressed, and it helps you get out of the depression. But now it's now it's become your depression, because this thing that was giving you joy to get you out of depression, now, you know, you want to put it out to the masses. And if just because people just ain't watch it for whatever reason or the other, that will play a major, that will hurt just as bad as somebody shooting you, for real, for an artist. And so I found a lot of different ways to cope with dealing with depression. I ain't gonna go lie. I am an avid marijuana advocate. I'm also a very big advocate on communication, and communicating in a different kind of manner that takes out any type of negativity, but just increases positive thoughts and creates positive vibes that can not only reciprocate with you, but can reciprocate to the next person. Depression is very real, and especially in the Black community, it doesn't get looked at nearly as much as it should. Depression plays a big role with poverty, and, you know, economics leads. I know a lot of friends that's dealt with. I got a lot of friends that's right now that are my age, full adults, and they deal with depression. But that depression stems from stuff that we went through as kids, and they still not, you know, and they still haven't dealt with it. So they lash out. They end up getting in situations where they end up in jail, or or somebody else get hurt, or just, you know, wrong decisions end up being made, and we are not addressing those issues that take place in our community nearly as much as we should, because a lot of young African American youth deal with PTSD just from the environments that they live in. And a lot of people don't look at that. They just look at, oh, this kid is a thug. You know, this kid, you know, because when you're a kid in the suburbs and you act out, your life is so great then when you do something, it's like, well, something's got to be wrong because we done did all this. He has this great life and everything like that. So, you know, we have to figure out what's wrong with him. But the kid that comes out the gutter when he does something is like, oh, well, the reason why he did it is because he's out of the gutter, throw him in jail. But that's the main reason why somebody should help him. So, you know, when it comes down to like myself and the issues of depression and mental illness, I'll be very open to admit, yeah, I battle it every day. Well, I would, you know, in the days that I would say are better is because of, you know, I just try to put myself in the situations where positivity is always going to be the key factor, you know. So
that's what I mean by when you're on set, even if something is going on, like when we had that bad experience, your morale, you always handled it like a professional, and you always were positive, and you always were honest with me if you needed a break or if you needed to take a minute and get yourself together. And because you were, I had no problem with that. I'm going to move on to the next question. The thing with the creative industry is that it ebbs and flows. Independent film seems to be gearing up again with safety protocols in place, while Hollywood is slow to follow suit. How has COVID affected each of your careers, and how will you function moving forward in its aftermath?
You want to go first on this one?
Yeah, Brandon, you go first.
All right, COVID. It caused me to do everything different. I mean, that's what I'm gonna say. At first, I was gonna say, you know, COVID messed up everything, but you know, it made me switch on how I do things. It sucks. It just sucks. Like this, you know, I'll try to put a good spin. No, it sucks, man. Like COVID really sucks. It sucks. It killed a lot of I know so many artists that had their creative juices just absolutely just smacked when COVID first hit, because it was a lot of things going on for a lot of different artists, not even just including myself around that time. So it just sucked. It just sucks. And, you know, you just try to make the best out of it.
Okay. And Ginny?
Well, COVID for me, I was looking forward to, you know, film projects and stuff during the summer. And COVID for me literally stopped everything. Like, I got laid off from my job specifically because of COVID. Everything in and around me pretty much shut down. I spent the first 2 weeks just sitting in the house watching the news, trying to figure out exactly, like, okay, so exactly what's going on now? Exactly what are we supposed to do? You know, because it was such an odd thing, you know. And of course, you know, I'm doing all of the safety things because one of the things that has definitely made it more difficult with the COVID thing, taking care of my mother, she's got the beginning stages of COPD. She can't go anywhere except for to the doctor, pretty much. And I have to make sure I don't get sick because there's no one else to take care of her. So I haven't gone back to work yet, and they shut off the unemployment. So right now I'm trying to figure out, how am I going to get some stuff going, you know, as far as like creating films and stuff, and also how am I going to pay my bills next month? Because right now, yeah, there's not a lot of hiring people doing film or television around here that actually want to pay. Like, I've seen so many ads for, you know, people looking for people to help them with their films, but they all are just like, you know, there's no pay, and it's like, it's really hard to get people to work for free anyway. And then on top of it, you want them to come out in the middle of COVID and do it for free for exposure. We're not doing that kind of exposure anymore. That's a no-no now.
Not worth it. It's not worth it.
Well, I know Johnny Woo, who did I cannot pronounce it. Woo, it's Woo Cheat Code, the Code 2, and it got like first place action film, and I know it's been accepted into AOF. Johnny K. Woo is back to producing in Cleveland, but everybody wears masks, and and even his new feature film is incorporating the use of masks into in front of the camera. So
it's going, but that's good for him. My thing is like every artist can't do that, because then you're gonna look up and everybody in every movie got on masks. That's gonna be kind of, that's just like good, like man, like
all the movies made in 2020.
Yeah, it's just like that's gonna be really weird. It's like every movie is about a doctor or a hospital, and that's the reason why we're wearing scrubs and masks. And Johnny Woo's a great film director. And if anybody was going to figure out how to be MacGyver during this situation, it was going to be him. And he was just like, you know what? I mean,
I go around this. I'm going around it.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like for Johnny Woo's the only human being where he could be like, hey, I need virus. I need you to stay right here for 3 hours and don't move. And the virus will literally stay there. He'll go do his thing, and then after he leaves, then the virus just starts hopping on the walls and stuff again. It's crazy. Shout out Johnny Woo, man. Shout out Johnny Woo.
Oh God, no. Okay, so Ginny and Brandon, I sent you a scene from Trick where Dell is acting. Did you all look at it?
I didn't even look at it.
I did not know I got anything.
When did you send
my email or in?
Yeah, I sent it by Messenger. It's the scene. Okay, it's the scene where him. I think the other actor's name is Robert.
Oh, Rob Pralgo from the Vampire Diaries and Batman versus Superman.
Yeah,
and all those scenes that you saw, those are scenes that are about other actors, not about me per se. I'm a straight man, so they're beautiful.
Yeah, well,
I'm looking for it right now. I'm gonna get some.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna have to check this out
because Dell comes off. Dell is a total badass in that scene.
Yeah. People will be surprised to find out that I'm the good guy in the film, believe it or not.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand that. They keep seeing all this stuff, but I end up being the good guy. I don't like to play bad guys. That's why, after I did Jet Li.
Play bad guys.
I played a bad guy in Jet Li's Masters, his first American, big martial arts film under Roberta Chow and Golden Harvest. And then I got a part in Rocky V, as one of the fives. They used my real name. And so the next film I got was another big film, but I was supposed to be a drug dealer. I go, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. So I kind of stopped. I don't want to do that. And I think that even though we have characters in this film that are dicey, you still have a good through line of what's good and what's evil. But yeah, it does seem as I'm the bad guy in the film from all the clips, but I'm not the bad guy.
I like playing the bad guy. I like being given roles that are completely the opposite of what you think when you look at me. Because I don't get to do those things because people look at me and go, oh, you're so sweet. We're going to make you the sweetheart. And I'm like, I want to yell at people. I want to be allowed to yell at people.
Okay.
Funny.
Okay, right? So the next question. So this question is for all of you. When faced with depression, anxiety, or rage, what coping mechanisms do you use?
Hey, Jenny, look, don't tell nobody about those bodies you got buried in your backyard. That's not a good coping mechanism.
That's not my backyard anymore. It's someone else's backyard now.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I just want to make sure that because we talked about that. We just try to
put a lot of lime down. It'll be just fine.
The lime, indeed. No.
I learned that from reading Stephen King novels in middle school about how you dissolve bodies with lime, or like that's how you keep it from smelling or something. Like it's something to do with lime, powdered lime.
Apparently, that's a coping mechanism.
Okay.
No, I listen to a lot of music. That's kind of my thing. Is I listen to a lot of music and I do a lot of painting and paint pouring and things like that. Things that I can do with my hands that are relaxing visuals.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Brandon?
I write. I like to write fun things. Like if I'm in a bad mood, then I go to my comic book. That's really been a great outlet for me, is writing my comic. That's actually been my therapy. I was depressed from the connected with COVID and things of that nature, and writing something fun, different, that's just in a, fantasy world per se, with some good music playing and a joint, yo, I'm there. Like that is like I am in heaven, and just type away, or I'm, and it's, or just exchanging, like if me and you talk, we're exchanging ideas and things of that nature, that helps too. So y'all talking to other artists and writing is like my jam. That gets me out of a bad mood.
Okay. So this question goes to Dell as well. What are your thoughts on the theater production we are embarking upon together?
I just think that as a creative force, I don't care what the medium is. I don't care what the art form is. The fact of the matter is that if you're a creative being, such as what you are and these other two talented folks are, you have to find a way to express that talent and that artistic nature. So whether it's a stage play or a movie or a book or a painting or a drawing or a photo, whatever it is that excites you enough to raise the enthusiasm enough to go do it, I think it's a positive thing. So the stage play, it just shows another facet of your becoming of something. And I just think it's a brilliant thing. I mean, it's easy to rest when you've done something and you're happy with it and that's enough for you. It's much more difficult to keep pushing as the three of you are. I mean, that's just amazing to me. And I love to see it. I'm in the same boat. I'm trying to do the same thing myself. You're talking about movies during COVID. We're shooting a movie next month. We just said, hey, let's just go do it. But we decided to not include COVID in the film because COVID is a temporary thing. If you've lived more than 15 minutes, we've been through the swine flu, we've been through Ebola, we've been through AIDS, we've been through all these things that seem to just define and terrorize the world. But when you look back in your life, if someone said, what are the top 3 things that happened to you? Not one person's going to say, oh, I remember swine flu in 78. No one's going to do that. They're talking about their kids' births, their wives, their husbands, their movies. But it's not going to be about some momentary blip on our planet. And it's a horrible thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not downplaying it. But if you've lived more than 12 minutes, you've seen some horrible things that make this pale by comparison. So I love the art. Keep doing it and don't stop.
Indeed.
Brandon?
I just said indeed. I agree with everything he said. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if anybody else, but we all made it through that last season of Game of Thrones. And if we can make it through that, we can make it through anything.
Even the Starbucks cup made it through the last season of the Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, yo.
So, Ginny, you have anything to add?
The COVID thing, I definitely agree with that it is a temporary thing, but I've actually been kind of inspired to tell a little story about, kind of what it's like. I had an idea in my head of a nurse coming home from her shift and having to avoid her kid to get to the bathroom, to get out of her scrubs, to get in the shower. And her kid's like knocking on the door, trying to tell her about, this drawing she drew while she was at work. And this nurse is literally in the shower, sitting down like this, with the water running over her, crying because of all the things that she had seen in the hospital that day, and hearing her kid outside the door trying to get her attention. And she's trying to literally wash the day from herself.
Oh,
and
that's sweet.
Yeah, I had that in my head. And so that's something I think I would love to do, but it's because I want people to have a very thick psychological introduction, an emotional introduction to what it's like for our first line people out there. And I mean, the people in the grocery stores too, but the people in the grocery stores are watching people die. They're not taking ventilators off of one person who just died, cleaning them, and then putting them on somebody else 5 minutes later, knowing that person may not make it through the night. Mm-hmm. That is a whole level of, I hope that our hospitals are smart enough to get them free therapy for all of this that all our doctors and nurses have been through, because it's going to cause a lot of them to have PTSD or have PTSD symptoms.
Okay.
So I think it's important to bring, even though it's going to be temporary, I think it's important to bring attention to the people who are in the midst of the war, the soldiers that are actually on the field right now. And those are the people who are working in our hospitals and our med centers.
Okay.
Amen.
And finally, last question. If you had one piece of advice to give to other struggling creatives out there trying to make it in the industry, what would it be? And either one of you take it first. Jenny?
I would say don't give up, obviously, because if you give up, you're done. And nobody else had to give up on you. You didn't have to hear no. You heard it from yourself first. You're done. So don't do that because that's not going to help you. Work with as many really good, talented people who are open to helping you and teaching you. And I think that's really important to kind of specify because there are a lot of people that will take you on and let you help them to death. But when you're done, you don't end up having a whole lot to show for it other than some skills that, you know, that you made sure you learned while you were there. So that's one thing is, you know, make sure you work with good people, make sure you get those experiences, those skills, but at the same time, make sure you have something to show on the back end of that. Because if you spend years working on someone else's projects and you have nothing to show for that 2 to 3 years, trust me, it's very disappointing when things don't work out because you're like, well, great. I have nothing to show for the last 3 years of my work. And then the other thing would be to not let outside relationships interrupt your creative process and interrupt your creative ambition. I wish I had not spent as much time trying to fix relationships that I was in when I was younger and just said, the heck with that. I'm going to Hollywood.
Okay.
And that's just honesty.
Yep. Okay. So, and Brandon?
Well, my first advice is what Jenny said. Do not stop. Do not give up. That's just the biggest rule right there. Don't stop. Do not give up. 2, listen, remain humble. Even if you're good, or even if you're good and you're great, what makes to me what makes a great person great is if they don't never look at themselves as great. They always trying to improve, and that's just going to make you a better artist. You know, don't think that you learned everything. Don't think that you're the best. You can always learn more. There's people you can learn from. It's things that you can miss if you're not taking your time, listening, and really taking in each moment. 2, well, that was 2. 3, do not let criticism of others discourage you from continuing on with your dream. You're like, here's the thing: there's no guarantee every movie you make, or every song that you make, or every performance that you make is going to be just an outstanding Oscar-winning performance. There's no guarantee of that. So make sure you try your hardest 100% of the time. But in those times where if somebody criticizes you for not, giving the best performance or this, that, and the third, just chalk it up. Hey, you had a bad night. Guess what? You're gonna come back and get them the next time. And that's just what it is. Like, don't let that weigh on you too much. To actually if you find yourself making mistakes, look at all your mistakes, and then look at what you could do to make them better. So if you feel like you gave a bad performance, take a look at that film. Take a look at what you could do better. Always look to improve. Don't ever think that you know everything. And then at the end of the day, last thing, in this game, have a deep sense of who you are, and stay true to that. Don't let people change who you are. Be true. If you're an artist, you make music, I don't care what kind of music it is. Stay true to that. Stay true to you, your art. Stay true to who you are. If you're an actor, stay, hey, listen, when you're outside of that set, when you're not that character, remember who you are. Remember what makes you special, what makes you unique. And if you're an artist, you're already special. You're already unique. You're already somebody that people should give some praise to in some shape, form, or fashion, because you're able to do what a majority of the people can't do. So believe in yourself, stay true in yourself, and know that there is light at the end of that tunnel. Just work hard.
Dill, I know you don't give advice, but would you comment on that last question?
He's not here.
Are you kidding?
No,
No, he's not. Sorry for the
He
bad
didn't
segue.
even say goodbye.
I wonder if he got.
Let us know he was leaving.
Phone might have his phone might have died or something.
Oh my God!
He might have got it. Might have got booted off.
Don't you dare make excuses for him.
We can still tease him a little bit. I mean, come on, man.
You guys did a great interview. This is a good show. There was a lot of people tuning in.
Cool.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
How
Nice.
many?
20?
Yeah, for the first round, and
That's good for this.
yeah. But we usually end up after people watching it.
Between 200 and 300 views.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, live. I mean, I've done this. And you all know I've been doing live broadcasting for a long ass time. Anywhere between 20 and 100 people for live for indie is good.
Yeah.
Didn't
Right?
we have?
And then
when you're not famous, and you're doing over 100.
Yeah.
If you're doing anywhere between 20 and 100 views, you're doing that. You got some material there.
Exactly.
You got some material
Because
there.
people just don't tune in, or they watch when they can, because we're like a binge watching society.
Yep.
So.
Okay. Well,
Well,
do you have any questions for them?
The only question I have is current projects and or social media for both of you, so that people can follow you, and we will put those links in the video for YouTube and for Facebook.
Sure. My Instagram is at Ginny Gardner Beld, GinnyGardnerbeld. And that's all of my art modeling stuff can be found there that I do. And then, just my Facebook page, Ginny Gardner Beld. That's and right now I'm not working on anything because there isn't anything going on. I need to be working on my writing. So if there's anything that I'm working on right now, it's kicking my own butt to get back on working on a script.
There you go.
Okay. Brandon?
Well, currently, let me see, man. I'm just gonna pick.
The
All right,
Lake Erie Theory's coming on Voice of Radio tomorrow.
Thank you, John. So that's first. Yeah, we got my new radio show, Lake Erie Theory, with Voice of Radio tomorrow, every Tuesday, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Comic book Metal Wolf comes out next year, November 2021. The Connected web series, we're hoping to get back on set within the next couple weeks, but we are going to be releasing Never Before Foreseen episodes of The Connected within the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'm just getting with my editors. We just finishing up the good old last pieces those puzzles to put that out there. Also, Landmine Entertainment, Landmine Records, Outlaw Jones Squad. We got new music coming out. Our album, Cartoons and Nightmares, is going to be dropping in a couple of months. So we just putting the finishing touches on that. Just dropping videos, from the music. Me and John, every now and then we like to, spray paint, Trump and Mike Pence signs when we find them, when we see them. That's just some fun we do. We don't really get
a little tagging. A little tagging to make the world better.
That's it, just a little rabble rousing here and there. So other than that, that's what I got going. Family, kids.
Where do they find you?
Oh yeah, you can find me the official Black State 08 on Instagram. So if y'all go the official Black State 08, you can find me on Instagram. If you go Brandon X Bell, you can find me on Facebook. If you put in Outlaw Jones or Reverb Nation, then you'll see the Outlaw Jones music catalog on Reverb Nation. And if you put in Big Daddy Lemon Juice, you'll find my picture in Google next to Greatest Pimps of All Time.
Oh shit, man, that is too funny. I'm about to go to. I gotta go to Urban Dictionary and type that in.
Big Daddy Lemon Juice. My picture gonna pop up
and then definition. One of the greatest pimps of all time.
Just like this.
Bah.
Yeah, with the backhand ready.
Can I go in onto that page and edit myself into there?
Please do.
For sure.
Please
oh
do.
My God, I would love that.
Because Jenny's a certified pimp for real. You know what I'm saying? So she hey,
we could make a Big Daddy Lemon Juice spoof profile and a Big Daddy Lemon Juice counterpart.
I'm totally
That
down for
could
that,
be
dude.
that could be another comic book. I don't know who
See,
would buy it.
listen, I'm totally down
Someone
for
would.
that. The Big Daddy Lemon Juice is an old high school nickname that girls gave me. I ain't even gonna tell you why.
We know why.
No, we don't. I to this
No,
day, I
I
don't
have
know
no
why,
idea.
but you know,
I
I
have
like the
no
mystery
idea
there.
why.
I don't know. It was catchy.
Amy,
It would
Yes.
burn when you got it in their eye.
Ginny,
Yeah.
how'd tonight go for you guys? Did you have fun?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love talking to you guys, and I mean, it's honestly nice to kind of socialize with people outside of the guy on the other side of the fast food window.
For real.
Hey, he's a
For
charmer
real.
though. Just got a break. He put extra sauce in your sandwich.
Amy is looking at messages from other people right now. She's not even focused on her own show.
I can
That's,
Yes,
tell.
that's
I
Like I can
interesting.
am.
literally read the
No, you're
messages
not.
in
No,
her
you're
eyes.
not. You're texting. You're doing some. You're doing some.
I
You
had
know. I gotta
look.
go get
Are
my
we still
name out there.
live?
Shit. Yeah,
No,
we're still live.
actually, well,
Okay.
my cousin
We don't
messaged
have to
me
be
at the
live.
beginning. Look, my cousin at the beginning of the show texted me that Tad Murphy was reading her scripts. And for people here who don't know who Tad Murphy is, he is the original screenwriter of the Hunchback of Notre Dame animated film for Disney.
Oh,
Wow.
I love that film.
That's a big deal.
Wow.
Yeah,
You're so connected.
no, I'm not. um,
Hey, who are we doing next Monday?
I will find somebody.
You heard
'Cause
that
I-
here first, everyone. We will be here, Recovery Unplugged Live, next Monday with someone.
Actually, I'm trying to find that clip of Dell from Trick to send to Ginny and to Brandon.
I wish I would have had that because I would have played it too. We could have played it on the broadcast. All right, everyone. We'll see you next week. Brandon and Ginny, you guys can stay on Zoom, and we're going to get out of here. At least
Okay.
so the audience can
Oh,
hear
you
us.
told us to stay on
Hi.
Zoom?
I gotta
If
say
you
hi
want
to
to.
Cyrus. Hi, Cyrus. Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Cyrus. Hi, Shannon. We love you.
Yeah, I just want to give a big shout out to my entire Bro Ops ENT Voice of Radio Landmine Records family. Just a big shout out to everybody. G1 NBC. You already know how we do. Big representatives here, and just want to thank you, Amy, for you being like just so awesome. Ginny,
You're
thank
very
you.
nice.
He is.
Yeah, and Ginny, thank you for being my homie. You're one of the best actresses I ever had a chance to see in person.
Aw,
Keep it up.
you're sweet. You're awesome. You made it very easy.
Oh, I'm easy.
You made it very easy, and it could have been very not easy because I've never had to kiss anybody on screen before, so that could have been super awkward.
The,
Yeah,
the
like,
Patrick
no,
and
it's no
Missy
big
story
deal. And
coming soon.
yeah.
Yeah,
And it
it's
was
not.
like,
It's not. You know, and the thing is, you know, like you know, it's a respect factor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I respect you as a colleague. So I wanted to make sure, you know, that you was cool with kissing my ugly mug. I ain't the best looking guy on the planet. So you know,
as long as
That's
your
it.
wife don't kick my ass, I'm good.
no, she actually wanted to make sure that I do my job